All right, today's episode of the Work Grind is called Corporate Inversion and the 35% Import Tariff. So, real quick, let's do a quick recap. So, um, politically speaking, we have a new Commander in Chief of America. Um, I am going to voice my opinion. I'm going to leave it at this. Not a fan. Not a fan at all. I wasn't even a fan of the whole election actually, but we are where we are. So yeah. Um. So we know Donald Trump is the president. We know Donald Trump. He is a notorious tweeter, and before he even got in office, he was imposing threats and imposing potential laws to different entities in America. So right here, we're talking about Donald Trump. He made a tweet on December 2016, and he was talking about creating a tariff for companies who plan on leaving the United States and do their operations elsewhere. So we know a lot of companies they leave the United States of America because and they go overseas for production costs. They go overseas for cheaper labor, whatever that's gonna reduce the cost. And Donald Trump, he has this American First initiative where he wants everything in America, everything to take place in America. So in this sense, he wants companies to stay here because he believes it's going to create more jobs and more economic opportunity. And that's what we're going to get into today to debate whether these jobs or this economic opportunity he wants to create, will it work? Will it not work? Or is it some type of repercussions of this? So that's what we're talking about. So here on the left, I mean on the right, there's Donald Trump tweeting from the bottom up. You know how Twitter works. So if you read it from the bottom up, I wish I can read it in a Donald Trump voice, but it might annoy anyone who's reading this or whoever read it might love it. Something to each his own. Um, so he said the U.S. is going to reduce tax and regulations on businesses, but any business that leaves our country for another country and fires its employees, builds a new factory in other countries, and thinks it will sell product back to the U.S. without retribution or consequence is wrong. There will be a tax on our soon-to-be border of 35% for people who want to sell products, cars, AC units to the U.S. And he ends with the U.S. is open for business. And he also states that the companies are able to move between all 50 states with no tariff or tax being charged. Please be forewarned prior to making a very expensive mistake. So, so this tariff he wants to impose is going to be very costly to a lot of companies. Companies they don't want to spend money on unnecessary things because they're in business, they're in enterprise, they're trying to maximize their profits as much as possible. So companies like Toyota, Ford, GM, a lot of auto companies, for the most part, they reacted. Some reacted positively, some reacted negatively. There are companies still trying to figure this out, and this conversation has advanced since this tweet came out. But this is where we're at overall. There are companies that want to do their operations elsewhere. The president and his administration is saying no. So many CEOs have met with the president. Many business leaders have met with him. They show concern and or support. So there's some people that are completely on board with this. There's some people who are like, no, I don't support this for this reason. We're going to talk a little bit about that. We'll talk about that. So let's talk about the pros and the cons of the tariff plans. There are more cons than pros after me doing my research, looking up articles on CSNBC, CSNBC, Bloomberg, all the heavy hitters. So let's talk about the pros. So there are pros to the tariff plan. This will keep jobs in America. Um, America, we just came off a recession. We're still looking at the after effects. They want to keep jobs there. That's not. I don't have an issue with that. Um, they allow states to compete with each other. So instead of us being competitive with other countries and states, they can compete for those resources like the factories and manufacturing plants where certain headquarters are going to be, where certain operations are going to be done, who's going to sell what where. So it allows states to compete against each other, and of course, whoever state um, will pay off. States can pay off greatly with tax revenue. So, for example, putting a plant in a rural town like Cairo, Illinois, which is very very impoverished, can benefit greatly. Versus like somewhere like that's already established, like a Indianapolis or something. So these states can compete with each other, and cities can compete with each other, and it has some benefit to it. It also can allows individual economic opportunity. So we talk about individual economic opportunity. We're talking about people want to have jobs they can make ends meet. Whoever's qualified to do these jobs can be able to have work. And lastly, the ability to rebuild and stay independent. So, this could be a chance for America to not depend on other countries as we did with China for trade, and it's a chance to hit the reset button, and we can do all our business here. So it's not going to start off easy. I can tell you that much, and I'm going to go into that when I talk about the cons. But it gives us the ability to stay keep operation here in America, grow business here, grow jobs here, and not worry about what any other country is doing. So the cons. So we still have a skills gap and a shortage. So we got a lot of these companies saying they want to keep business here. They want to keep things here. Can we even fill those jobs? Do we even have people who are qualified to work the new type of jobs, because these manufacturing plants, they are no longer like conveyor belt on the line. You need skills to do that. You need technological skills. There's so many different things that's needed, and we need to know, are we prepared to even take these jobs? So a lot of things that's going on is many people that can take those jobs, they're immigrants, and we have an immigration issue going on. As you know that whoever that there was an immigration ban. Mostly it hurted people that were Arab Americans, but it hurts a lot of other people who are immigrants who travel from one country to here. They probably have families in other countries. We know it's a big immigration issue going on, and a lot of those people can fill those jobs that Donald Trump and all these other companies want to keep here. So if they can't get in this country, if they can't get in America, if they're not able to use their skills, then we're losing out on a lot of talent. So not only do we have people who can't fill those jobs, because there are over 3 million manufacturing vacancies going on, and a lot of these jobs are manufacturing jobs. It's not only that there's Americans who can't fill the jobs, the people who can fill them might not be able to work them because they can't come in the country, or they got issues going on. So we got to see how this immigration thing plays out. Next, are we ensuring we have the right training and education? So we're talking about keeping jobs here, high quality jobs, because again, manufacturing jobs are no longer straight out of high school jobs. You need at least some type of certificate, associate's degree, some type of credential to work these jobs. Do we even have like the right training and education for these jobs? Like, are we making sure that colleges are ensuring that they close the skills gap by restructuring credentials, pointing students in the right direction, saying the jobs are here. They're not in these outdated majors anymore. I don't even think we're preparing ourselves for these things. I really don't. So, we're telling people that we're going to have the jobs here, but a lot of people aren't even qualified. And is education ready for that shift? Because we've been in a technological way for how long, and we still have people who aren't even don't even want to touch math and things that deal with technology. So we got to prepare ourselves to make sure that we are training people to work these jobs, and they know that these jobs are available. So that's something on the colleges. But if we have like education secretary who is more focused on pleasing people who are making more money, pleasing areas that are more affluent than poor areas, who wants to dismantle the Department of Education with Pell Grants. Like, I mean, what good would that do? So I don't know. But yeah, we have to be prepared for that as well. So next, higher costs. So because we want to keep operations here, that means the cost of production is going to shoot up. So if you go to maybe a country like let's say a location like a Japan or somewhere, I don't know, somewhere South Korea. Say they make tires there. I don't know, I'm just shooting from the hip. They make tires. Their tires might be cheaper there, and they ship them here. That company who's paying for those tires, they're not paying as much. I mean, they can pay more employees. They can put their money to other things. But for example, in the U.S., it probably will cost more to make that same line of tires. That means it's cutting to other costs, such as paying employees or being able to hire employees, marketing. So things that are made here are going to cost more, and they're going to hurt businesses, and those businesses are going to charge us more, and that's going to lead to overall inflation. Everything has the potential to cost more, just because they can't do business overseas, and overseas supplies that cheaper labor. Hopefully it's not like labor to the point of slave labor. We know some companies are doing that, but there are some companies who are in the standards of labor, and the labor is cheaper. It's just the way it is, and that cheap labor um, gives the company opportunity to make to make more money, maximize their profits, and things of that nature. So that's very important. So we have to be mindful that everything can shoot up. Everything can shoot up, especially companies who have a lot of operations going on overseas. So everything has the potential to like shoot up and cost more. And one pro and con is foreign companies can benefit greatly. So I mean, it's a pro and con because there are foreign companies who are going to benefit great from this. So there's going to be companies who are going to say, "Hey, they're not going to come over here." Then that means this company that was built here can take advantage of the market. They can take advantage of the fact that there's not going to be U.S. companies here, and we can make the money that we should have made a long time ago. So it can benefit foreign countries greatly, but again, that means that those U.S. companies they're going to have to pay more for production and manufacturing, supply chain, and all those things. And lastly, company flight and corporate inversion. And I'm going to get into corporate inversion on the next slide, but a lot of companies would probably just take operation and just leave the U.S. They just leave because they don't want to deal with all these new laws and things like that. They can go somewhere and make and maximize their profits. They just leave. So let's talk a little bit about corporate inversion. I'm going to wrap up because this is going to be long because you're going to hear about this on the news all the time. You don't need another person telling you this stuff. So what is corporate inversion? Corporate inversion is a transaction in which U.S. companies move their tax residents overseas to avoid taxes. So I am moving my country because I am moving my company to a different country because I don't have to pay the same taxes that the U.S. is charging me. That's what corporate inversion is. So I've counted, and a lot of these companies they do things like they might buy a company in the U.S. or merge with an overseas company, and they don't have to worry about um, taxes. They don't have to worry about patent, intellectual property. They don't have to deal with the U.S. laws that govern those things. But their operations are overseas, so they can enjoy the benefits of a U.S. company, but everything's overseas. All the paperwork, all the laws are overseas. So that means I don't have to pay taxes. I don't have to go through the U.S. patent laws, intellectual laws, hell, even the labor laws. So you can't do anything to me, but I'm gonna make my money in the United States, and that's what a lot of companies do. And this hurts the country because that revenue that is lost from those companies, they can pay for public schools, they can pay for tuition, they can pay for infrastructure. I'm sorry, other federal entities that can use federal funding, housing, transportation, all these things. And the U.S. has to pay more for these things. So, for example, you hear like a Bernie Sanders talking about free public tuition. Well, that can work much more. It can be a much more easier transition. But if we got companies who make billions here, but they're not paying taxes here, I mean, we can't pay for it. I mean, the U.S. people have to pay more for these things, and the U.S. people shouldn't have to pay more, especially in this state that we're in. So, it can be a mess. So that's all I want to leave you with. My um my takeaway from you is interpret what do you think is the best thing for the U.S. Should we do this tax plan? What do you think about corporate inversion? This is going to be a wild ride for the next 4 years, people. Like, believe it or not, it's going to be very interesting, and that's why I'm putting this information to you all because I just want you all to be able to know it's there. There's information there. There's someone else talking about it. There's someone that cares about it. But most of all, I just want people to be prepared for what's going on and to figure out what type of solutions that you're going to come up with. Whether you're working, you're in your communities, you're doing all these different things. So, what type of solutions are you going to come up with that's going to work with or work against these things? Because it's going to be a wild ride, people. So please subscribe to my show, The Work Grind, on YouTube. That's my YouTube channel. Find me on LinkedIn. Find me on Instagram at Vaughn Gathens. Actually, that's at The Work Grind. But yeah, you kind of get the gist. That's my Facebook. That's my LinkedIn. So I know I sound a little laid back this episode because I got a lot of stuff going on. I'm not going to be doing this weekly anymore. I'm going to do bi-weekly because I got a lot of things going on for work. I want to be able to have some good substantial content. So that's me, Javon Gathings. I hope you are enjoying your new year. It's already the second month of the new year, so make sure those New Year's resolutions are staying according to your plans. And I will see you in 2 weeks.